Nana Ansah, and you're watching Homeland, the story of the Returnee. Today with me, we are at the Creative Design College. This is Miss Joyce Ababio's College of Design and Creative Art. Of course, this is a phenomenal woman, a woman that has come back to Ghana to give back to the creative industry and also to the fashion industry. We're talking about a woman of passion, drive, determination, for her to be able to set up a college for 25 years. Follow me while we get sent little advice and even maybe inspiration. And definitely, you might end up enrolling to the college. Remember, you're watching Homeland, the story of the Returnee. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Kofi Upon Ochre, and I bring you NASA on DNT, a program designed to expose corruption and indiscipline in our society and advocate for the punishment of these offenders whose activities impede national development. The National Road Safety Commission indicates that Ghana loses $230 million to road accident, with over 1,600 deaths reported every year. In 2018, Shraj report indicated that Ghana loses 13.5 billion Ghana cedis to corruption. And United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has also stated that Ghana loses $290 million to poor sanitation alone. This is not right. So make a date with me, and together let's name and shame the offenders of the law. NASA, see something, say something.
Welcome to the Daily Altar, where each day we bring to you a morning experience designed to inspire, empower you to manifest God's fullness in your life. Most Christians today are struggling spiritually when it comes to spending time with God. But the psalmist in Psalm 5 verse 3 says, "My voice you will hear in the morning. Oh Lord, in the morning I will direct it to you and I will look up." Join me every morning from 5 a.m. on the Daily Altar to encounter God through His Word, prayer, and worship. I am Bishop Sami Opareloko from the Action City Church, Vision 10. God richly bless you.
Oh, shout your name, for you are God all by yourself.
Hello, welcome to the Homeland, the story of the Returnee. And with me is Miss Joyce Ababio, the CEO of Joyce Ababio College Creative Design. Before we start our interview, we usually have a segment called Yes or No.
Okay.
So I ask questions and then you just answer yes or no.
Okay.
So should we start?
Sure.
Okay. Do you cook?
Sometimes.
Can
I
you?
can't say no to it.
You can't say no.
Oh yes to it. But
Okay.
sometimes yes.
Can you live without the internet?
Yes.
For fashion?
Well, we are talking about me.
Yeah.
And I can live without internet. But for work, no.
How would you say you and work side to side?
Because at home, for instance, I don't have internet in my house.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I want to do that. Have you ever sent? That's actually amazing. So at home you don't use internet at all.
Well, if I have to, I would.
But
But I
as
don't
it-
have it. Because most times I get home so late,
Oh, okay.
you know.
Have you ever sent a text to the wrong person?
Not that I know of, but I'm sure I've done it before.
Have you ever lost a fight?
A friend.
A fight.
A fight. Yeah.
So you've been in fist fights.
Oh, of course not. A fight can be verbal. Doesn't have to be.
Fist. Okay. Are you concerned about what others think of you?
Not really.
Well, that was our segment for yes or no. You heard her. She doesn't really concern about what other people think of her. We aspire to get to that level of really being ourselves and not really caring about what people think. So before we start our interview, we usually dive into hobbies. And I want to find out what are your old-time hobbies, and now, what would you say your hobbies are?
Well, let's put it this way. When I was younger, my hobby was sewing. It was a thing I did when I was out of school. I enjoyed coming up with designs and doing the work, basically. and reading. And I used to read a lot. You know, those days we had Mills and Booms, and I would read Mills and Booms every day. And I would read one book a day. I mean, that was what I used to do.
One book a day, like the whole book?
I mean, the whole thing. I mean, once I like it, I'll finish it.
Okay, so you liked reading and sewing, and now,
My sewing is my work.
That's
It's
amazing.
what I do. I'm a fashion designer, so the sewing is my work. I really loved it, I enjoyed it, and it's what I do.
So now the hobby has turned into a passion of work. What would you say your hobby now is that doesn't have?
Not much. I work too hard. I go home and I sleep.
You don't read anymore.
And I don't read that much. I do when I have to, but I don't go out to pick up things to read like I used to do.
Okay, so as you were growing, you said your hobby was sewing. So earlyhood, childhood, was that entertained? Were you encouraged to pursue that sewing? Would you say early childhood in Ghana?
Well, I wouldn't say, you know, when we were growing up, sewing was, to use it as any kind of work or something was not looked at as a good thing. We used to have parents that would tell us, if you don't do well in school, they say, well, I'll let you stop school and go and learn how to sew. You know, so it was used like it's
A punishment.
Exactly, that's what it was. But I enjoy doing it, so I used to do that.
So that would have been like a punishment for you if they even took you away from school.
And considering that I'll be upset with my mom for making such a suggestion, it's amazing. That's what I do today.
And yeah, thinking about it is actually really amazing.
Yeah.
So growing up, earlyhood, childhood, how hard was that for you in education-wise in Ghana? How would you say your education system panned out?
I thought it went pretty well. I mean, I came from, my dad was a regional commissioner, or rather a minister, so they used to move us around quite a bit when we were younger. But once I settled into secondary school, and which is Achimota Secondary School, life was fine for me. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Everything went really well for me.
So from Achimota Secondary School, did you further your education in Ghana, or did you end up traveling?
No, I left right away to the U.S.
How was that possible? What pushed you to leave? Was it for greener pasture?
I am the last born in the family, and all my siblings were outside. Most of them in London, and the one before me was in the US, and I was determined to be in the US as well.
Why not London?
Which is what my mother wanted, but I didn't want London.
Why?
Because I'd visited enough times. I didn't need to be there again. I wanted to be in the US, period.
So was London now boring when you still want to choose US?
I think the reason was mostly because my mom kept saying, you need to go to London, it's just 6 hours and I can get to you. And I was thinking, no, I need to be in the US where I can be what I want to be. So that was it for me.
So it was like a rebellious act to go to the USA?
Part of it, yes.
So in the USA now, when you got to the USA, leaving Africa, a whole Ghana and Africa as a continent to another continent, how was that for you? How was the transition?
Oh, it was hard in the beginning. It was the time getting to school. First of all, I went to St. Cloud State University, which was, let's put it this way, you didn't see lots of black people in there. And it was more of a college town, so it was a really small town. So it was a time where you'd be passing and somebody's peeping in their window looking at you because you were different. And your accent was different, they didn't understand you, and you didn't understand them. And in college, the very first day, I'm put in an auditorium with over 300-400 people, and you already had books you should have read, and I didn't know I had to read a book to enter my auditorium and answer questions on the first day. So I think it was at that time I realized, the way they educate us in Ghana, it's not the right way. This chew and pour is not doing anything for any of us, and it was hard. So I had to be in the library most of the time to be able to catch up with what was going on in school. So the first semester, second semester was hard. About the second year, I was moving along.
So you went from Ghana and then you went straight to school in the United States. So did you stay with anyone whilst you were there, or you just went into
I went
campus?
To the dorm, on campus.
So being in the United States and school was your whole life on campus when you were studying?
No. My sister-in-law was in Minnesota, St. Paul. So I used to go on holidays. I would go spend it with her.
I read that you left. I know you enjoy sewing, went to school, left, and then you studied medical. You went in for medical technology.
Yeah.
And then you dropped out and started to do fashion. How did that work? As in you dropped the course, not dropped out. You dropped the course to start to do fashion. How was that for you?
When I was leaving Ghana, when I wanted to go to school in the US, there used to be a system in Ghana that you had to apply to the secretariat for them to approve, and that approval allowed your parents to actually pay money to the bank and for the bank to transfer it to your school for your fees. So there was an application I had to go through, and I applied initially for fashion design. They turned me down. So the second time around, it was one of them that actually said, if you really want to get this thing approved, you need to pick another subject. So then I chose medical technology. So that was approved. So this is how this started out. So I went to St. Cloud State University with the medical technology on my record as what I was going to do. But you know how the system in the US works. You go through 2 years of selecting different courses and stuff before you declare your major. So by a year and a half, I had had a conversation with them that really what I want to do is fashion design. And because the school didn't offer a good program in fashion, I transferred to another school to do it.
That's resilience. So you decided, you know what? Since I want to do fashion, I'm going to find another way to get approved, and I will still do fashion.
Well, I was advised and I took it.
Okay. So when you were in United States, did you pay for your way through school, or were your parents paying for your?
My mom was paying. She paid first year, second year, and then that was the period of PNDC, and certain rules changed, so the money could no longer be transferred. So I worked and went to school. So in order for me to complete school, I had to work. So I worked part-time and I went to school part-time.
And how was that for you? Was that challenging? Did you ever got to a point where you felt like, you know what, I'm going to drop school and work full-time, or I'm going to find another route to this?
It was challenging, yes. I mean, living in the US wasn't easy. I'm not going to make it seem as if it was just easy. No, it wasn't. It was hard. It was tough. It was a period of realizing that you are there and you're on your own. Your sister is not your sister, your brother is not your brother, and you're on your own, period. I mean, so it wasn't easy. But I wasn't going to stop school. So what I did was I found a job. You know what happened with my first job? I wore a dress I had made myself, and I went to the mall. And we went through a mall, and I saw a sign in one of the windows that looking for a salesperson or assistant or something. So I entered, and I asked, you looking for someone? And she said, did you make your dress? I said, yes. She said, oh, I'm looking for somebody who, when buttons and things comes off, they'll be able to do, can you do this? I said, yes. And then she let me go. I went home, and she called me and said, come and do the job on Monday. So that was my first job.
From sew assistant to actually being the seamstress in the shop?
I was an assistant. But I would put things together if it came off or that sort of thing.
Okay.
So that's how I did my first job. So I would work I go to school from morning till 12:30, and then I'll leave from there to my office, or rather my job, to go and do that.
Would you say living and being on your own and actually having to strive for yourself, it kind of creates independency?
It does, and it gives you all the experience, and I mean, it was a good experience. In the time, you think of it as life is hard. Your mom is not here, your dad is not here, your family, nobody, and you're on your own. My brother was in the US, but he was in Milwaukee, and I was in Minnesota. So that was a different thing. And then I moved to Texas, and he was in Milwaukee. So I was on my own there.
You had to be on your own throughout,
exactly.
which kind of creates the spirit of I need to survive.
So it wasn't easy, but it was an experience. And from that, I made certain decisions that if I'm going to be in the fashion industry, I want to learn everything. So I took to learning, I worked as an assistant for a while. I decided I'm going to work in Marshall Fields for a while. I went into alterations for a period of time. Then I went to the sales section for a period of time. So, and I picked different places to work. I worked in a fabric shop to learn that as well.
Oh, okay.
I worked in places where I would actually sew. I did suits for a period of time. So I learned different things while I was in school.
So it's kind of like your passion has always been, fashion has always been like a passion of yours. And whilst you were in school, you wanted to go acquire every skill you can
Everything I
possibly
could
get.
find, I did.
It's like you already, I'm always so in awe when I hear people have specifically, it's like you knew this is what I enjoyed, and you played it all out.
Yes.
Did you have any other passions apart
Yes,
from sewing?
I did. There were two things. I wanted to do law and I wanted to do fashion.
And did you temper the law?
At some point, when I was done, when I graduated from school and I was working, I worked for different companies for a while, and finally one day I told myself, you know what, I want to try this out. So I enrolled in a school in Houston, so I left Dallas and went to Houston and took a one-year program as a paralegal. And then came back to Dallas and worked in personal injury for a couple of years. I moved to Los Angeles and I worked as a litigation paralegal at Gibson, Dunn & Crutcher for some years. So I worked in the law firm also for some years.
So both passion, you
So I did
decided,
both.
you know what, I'm going to try all my options out and enjoy both of my passion. And then after that, I will still pick sewing, but I'm going to temper my other passion.
I did. I was still working, doing my job on the side. You know, I would sew for people, that sort of stuff. But then I was working in the law firm as well. And even in the law firm, I also opened a company that allowed me to put in paralegals into different companies to work, you know. And I had a business,
That's
basically.
multi-talent. I aspire to be there. How would you compare the education system from Ghana and that of United States when you got there? Since you've been in both, what will be the difference and what will be the similarities?
I think in the U.S., basically, they try, what the schools allow your mind to work. And you have to think. You have to do the work. And you have to use your mind, period. And in Ghana, it's about chew and pour. That's where the problem is. Because chew and pour means what I learn, I take an exam, and I promptly forget what I learned. And that, I think, is the main problem that we have here. We have to find a system where people are taught to be part of what they are learning, instead of just book work.
Yeah, so
which is
it's
what we do.
more like practical and a system that allows theory and practical, not just theory.
Exactly.
Well, Ms. Joyce, we're going to continue more with this conversation. I'm having a short break. You're watching Homeland, the story of the returnee, and we are with Ms. Joyce Ababio. Stay tuned for more stories, and make sure you don't go anywhere. Grab yourself some coffee, some tea, some hot food if you macked. Sit down, relax, and stay tuned for more.
Welcome to the Daily Altar, where each day we bring to you a morning experience designed to inspire, empower you to manifest God's fullness in your life. Most Christians today are struggling spiritually when it comes to spending time with God. But the psalmist in Psalm 5 verse 3 says, "My voice you will hear in the morning. Oh Lord, in the morning I will direct it to you and I will look up." Join me every morning from 5 a.m. on the Daily Altar to encounter God through His Word, prayer, and worship. I am Bishop Sami Local from the Action City Church, Vision 10. God richly bless you.
Oh, shout your name, for you are God all by yourself.
Hello, my name is Kofi upon Ochre, and I bring you Nasa on DNT, a program designed to expose corruption and indiscipline in our society and advocate for the punishment of these offenders whose activities impede national development. The National Road Safety Commission indicates that Ghana loses $230 million to road accident, with over 1,600 deaths reported every year. In 2018, Shraj report indicated that Ghana loses 13.5 billion Ghana cedis to corruption. And United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has also stated that Ghana loses $290 million to poor sanitation alone. This is not right. So make a date with me, and together let's name and shame the offenders of the law. NASA, see something, say something.
Welcome back to Homeland, the story of the returnee. And of course, I hope you're enjoying the conversation as much as I am. We're with Miss Joyce. So Miss Joyce, my question would be, so both Ghana and America, the learning system is quite different. And I want to find out, what was it for you when you got to America that made you think, I want to bring this type of education in Ghana for you to be able to set up your college?
Well, like I said, when I entered the school and realized that the method the training that we had in Ghana was hard. It wasn't working, because I entered the class and I realized that I can't just read a book and just
Pour it,
basically. I have to be communicating with somebody about it, talk about it, think about it, come up with what I read and how I understood it and that sort of stuff. And I don't recall while we were in school that we used to do those things. It was more, you've read it, you take an exam, and that was it. So it was more thinking critically about the things that you read more in the US. And when I realized this, when I got into school, was when I thought, oh my goodness, there's a lot more we have to do. So in coming home, the sort of teaching I want and I bring on board or I do with my instructors is, even if it's math, you must teach it creatively. Do you understand? So it's got to be the type that allows somebody to think through what they are doing. Because at the end of the day, what we are doing is creativity, and your mind must work. As much as in Ghana, you know, they look at what we do as those dropouts are the ones that go and learn how to sew or be fashion designers and stuff. It baffles me how they came up with that concept all these years, because those of us in the creative industry are those who actually have to do the thinking. So it amazes me when I hear people say that, and I don't know where it came from. Over the years, I've asked that same question: where did this information come from? And I don't know what it is.
And have you been able to get the answer for it?
Well, I looked at it and I thought maybe the colonial times, because women had to do needlepoint. And it was as if you had to know how to do needlepoint. Maybe that's why we've always looked down on it.
Maybe that it's like a rebellious act, would you say, as in pushing away from it completely?
No, you know, when years ago, a woman's thing to do was to do needlepoint. You have to play the piano. You have to do different things, that sort of stuff. And I think that is what was brought here that makes us think that we need to look down on this, and it's not important. But creativity is not something one looks down on. And it's not one that does not require you to think through anything that you do. Because take fashion. We always hear people make certain comments like, oh, that is a simple dress. There's absolutely nothing simple about that dress.
I don't like that comment.
Because I can name the parts of the dress you're wearing right now. And all those parts have to be separate, to be joined together, to create that thing they are referring to as simple. Do you understand? And also, I'm dealing with different body types every day. If I didn't use my brain, how am I going to give you that dress that you woke up and you thought about? This will be the appropriate one to wear to this.
Yes. Okay.
You see, somebody has to do all those things.
Definitely.
And it's thinking that does that for you.
So what would you say your most memorable experience is, like within the fashion industry, or even learning the fashion? What would be your reflection to look back and be like, you know what, this was the moment I realized I'm taking this fashion on completely?
I don't know whether there was a moment for me. I'm a different sort of person, I think. So I realized that as I grow older that I'm very different with the way I think through my stuff. But I don't think there was ever that for me. In school, in the US, for instance, it was learning. And I needed to learn. And for me, if I was learning, I need to know everything. So I chose to do different parts of it, learn from here, you know, gives me a whole.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Oh my God.
And in coming home, when I came home, the first thing I said to myself, I've worked in Ghana, in America for years, and I was working long hours because I was sort of doing two things.
Yeah.
You know, and I was the type that would work till 12 midnight and so before I would drive home and things like that. So I said, I'm going to take a break 1 year. I told myself. So the whole idea was to lie around.
You were going
do
to take a
absolute-
break.
That's what I said to myself.
And were you able to take that break?
Oh, I don't know about that. I wake up every morning, and I'm also somebody who usually knows what I want. So in my wanting a shop in Ghana, I told myself it has to be on Oxford Street. You know, when I came,
Yes.
that's what it was, Oxford Street.
Yeah.
So I would get up every day and I'll drive on Oxford Street. I won't go left, I won't go right, I won't do anything. It was the only place I wanted a shop.
So you spoke about it in existence. It's like, I know,
And
I
I
want
found
it, and you found it.
And I found it,
So
that's what I wanted.
So from this, I would say, what I get from it is, when you're sure about what you want, you need to speak in existence and then work towards it.
Well, if you want to think it's that way, all I know, I'm that determined in the things that I want, and I go for it. I mean, I make sure I get what it is that I want. I'll look at another option after a long while, but the first one, as I want, is what I'm going to do. You see, so coming home, that was the whole idea. I was going to rest for a while, and then somebody asks me, Joyce, would you like to do a show with us? We are doing an international show. I've heard this is what you do. Do you want to join us? I thought about it. People had been doing this for a whole year, and I just heard it a month to time. So I said, okay, what am I going to do? Right, let's do something. I pulled a machine out. I didn't have a place. I didn't have anything going. I pulled it out. I put my mood board together, drafted my stuff I wanted to do, and started 1 month. Day and night, I did the work.
Oh, yes.
Day and night, I did the work
So-
until the day of the show. And right after the show, I had a name. You get my point?
Yes.
So for me,
Determined. It was
I'm that
just-
determined. That's how I am.
So when you got back, would you say living in United States for so long, was the mentality different? Did you find it hard to adjust back in the system that you were before when you were younger? As coming back as an adult, was the system different for you?
Definitely. I mean, I come home and I find that I'm not a fashion designer, but I am a seamstress. And you are told so often that she's a star. Hello, I'm at my seamstress's shop. That's what they say, right in front of you. Forgetting that some of us actually have a degree in it, and I am a fashion designer, but I was a seamstress. And then I also got to know I started seeing, again, you know, you go away and you forget how things are, and you come back and it hits you again that you've gone for 15, 18 years and you come back and it's the same. I was still a seamstress. People didn't think much of what I do. People had one way of doing stuff. The respect wasn't there. It was still the same.
Was that frustrating for you? Did you feel like, you know, with everything going on and the fact that you studied for it and you have a qualification for it and it's not being respected, did you feel like I want to leave Ghana and just go back to a comfort zone?
No, I don't think I ever looked at it from that angle. I looked at it from the angle of changing the mindset, rather. It's what brought up the school. Because as a fashion designer, I worked as a fashion designer for years. I did my own shows for years. And then finally, something brought me here, as in running a school. And part of it came with the fact that of the mentality people had, and I had this need to change that mindset for people to see what creativity is about and not look at it from the angle they were looking at it. So if you rated all the businesses and work and stuff, you know Ghana, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you are
everything.
an engineer, even a business person is important. I don't know what business, but a business person. And then eventually, those of us at the lower end, we do ours.
So, would you say there is within our society there is what is called appropriate dressing, and there is? Do you feel like within our society, Ghana right now has people have freedom to express themselves in fashion, or do we have to go with the one system where it's quite appropriate when your dress is covered to your knee, but then the moment you express yourself, oh wait dear, something small is wrong with that person?
I think things have changed a lot. I mean, this day and age, you can Google things and find what's going on, and we've changed.
But would you say we've accepted that change?
We have. Well, some of us have.
Okay.
Some are still fighting over don't wear this to church and don't wear this to that.
Do you think we have appropriate dressing? Yes. Is there a dressing that is decent or appropriate?
Yes.
What would be? Do we have a fashion rule for clothes, for dressing?
The fashion rule has always been what type of occasion it is. You need to know how to dress for different occasions. So if I'm going to church, you know what is appropriate, right? If I'm going to a party in the evening, you know what is appropriate for a party. If I'm going to a barbecue, I know what is appropriate. And if it's something at a pool, what would I wear?
Yeah.
You see, those are the things that are there. But, and I think if we look at fashion that way, that is what is appropriate, as in knowing what is the right thing to wear for the various occasions that we have.
Would you say right now with the younger generation, we are more on, this is my style and this is how I am and I'm going to be like that all around, instead of going with the fashion code where you have to know what is appropriate and what is not appropriate?
I think they wear anything, in any time. That's the young generation, yes.
Okay. So,
but I think it comes with the fact that we don't have the education as to what is appropriate.
yes,
what is the right
the benchmark for it.
Exactly.
And also, I read about if you wear a short skirt, you make sure your arms are covered, and like your top parts are covered. And if something top is uncovered, make sure your legs are covered. So
those things don't apply to every country.
okay.
You know, it's in the book, and it's written by people who are in the snow and cold weather and all those things. So those of us here, it's not going to work for us. It's too hard to do those things.
Well, Miss Joyce, we're going to come back soon with more conversation. You're watching Homeland, the story of the Returnee, and I hope you're enjoying this conversation as much as I am. Stay tuned and don't move. Hello, this is Nana Ansah, and you're watching Homeland, the story of the Returnee, where we dive into the perspective of the diaspora in and out of Ghana. It's fun, engaging, and motivational.
I think Ghana is a wonderful place. I love Ghana. I truly do.
We need our diasporans for our country to develop to where it should be.
Come on, turn around. Turn around, let me see.
Make a date with me right here on DNT every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Homeland. Brain drain, brain gain.
Welcome to the Daily Altar, where each day we bring to you a morning experience designed to inspire, empower you to manifest God's fullness in your life. Most Christians today are struggling spiritually when it comes to spending time with God. But the psalmist in Psalm 5 verse 3 says, "My voice you will hear in the morning. Oh Lord, in the morning I will direct it to you and I will look up." Join me every morning from 5 a.m. on the Daily Altar to encounter God through His Word, prayer, and worship. I am Bishop Sami Local from the Action City Church, Vision 10. God richly bless you.
Oh, shout your name, for you are God all by yourself.
Hello, my name is Kofi Upon Ochre, and I bring you NASA on DNT, a program designed to expose corruption and indiscipline in our society and advocate for the punishment of these offenders whose activities impede national development. The National Road Safety Commission indicates that Ghana loses $230 million to road accident, with over 1,600 deaths recorded every year. In 2018, Shraj report indicated that Ghana loses 13.5 billion Ghana cedis to corruption. And United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF has also stated that Ghana loses $290 million to poor sanitation alone. This is not right. So make a date with me, and together let's name and shame the offenders of the law. NASA, see something, say something.
Hello and welcome back. I hope you're enjoying this conversation and you didn't move, right? Yeah, stay tuned for that. Ms. Joyce, I know you've experienced so much and you have great experience within the fashion industry and sector. Coming back to Ghana now, how would you grade the fashion industry in Ghana?
Great.
Yes.
I don't know whether it's great. We are on some scale.
Okay, not a grade per se, but what would your opinion be on the fashion industry in Ghana?
I've always thought Ghanaians are very fashionable. I never made that mistake because I looked at it from the angle of when I was here in Ghana. I thought I was really fashionable.
Yeah.
I'm always dressed, right shoes, right whatever it is.
Yeah, I feel like.
So I never ever thought when I was in the US that, okay, the people in Ghana, they are in Ghana, therefore they don't dress well. Never. I think we are very fashionable.
Yeah, I always used to look at old pictures, and it's like the fashion sense that was amazing.
We've always followed it.
And like the big hair and it was like, it was clean cut. It was like everyone dressed according to their shape and body type.
Yes.
And would you say the fashion right now, the fashion industry in Ghana is lacking? Or is there lack of creativity, would you say? Or
No.
Ghana is flourishing right now within the fashion industry?
I think we are doing well. We are doing well. I think, I mean, I see what people wear and what people are doing and the designers and what they're doing. And I think we are doing really amazing work. I'm not going to put us down in any way or form. I think we are doing very well in this industry.
And what can be improved on, precise?
We just have to move it from, for me, I look at it from a certain angle. Okay, now we know how to, we are really paying attention. We are doing all the right things. It's just left to the industry itself. What are we going to do about it to grow it the way we need to grow it? It shouldn't be every designer has their own little section they are working on, sort of. We should find a way to grow it big because it's a billion-dollar industry, and if we looked at it from a certain angle, we could do much better.
So coming to Ghana, what would you say your contribution is? Because I know definitely, I would say the college is amazing, and I've seen the mission statement, how it opens mind and creativity, thinking and stuff. What your contribution would you say you're adding to Ghana right now to change perceptions?
I think my contribution has always been changing the mindset because I started this. For years, I worked hard at changing it. And it took me 17 years in the school to get to the point where I could see people actually, let's say, the doctors, the lawyers, the engineers, the ones that were, you know, out there, as they say, start coming into the school to learn. You see, because at that time, then you realize that, okay, now nobody's afraid or shy to say, I'm sewing. Do you get my point? So I think that was the beginning of it. And the school has trained thousands of people. Most top fashion designers in Ghana came from this school. So I would like to say I've contributed to something.
Yes, that's an amazing contribution. What courses what courses do you run in your college?
We have fashion design is the major department, the bigger department, but we do graphic design, we do textiles, accessories in the school.
Would you maybe in the near future have like a little shoe department?
Oh yeah, it's coming up.
That's something I would love. Hills.
Yes, we have something coming up that will have most creative disciplines under it.
So would you say right now, after 17 years of really putting in the work in your school, would you say you're happy with where your school success is and the way they accept fashion and how creative your people are?
17 years was running Vogue Style School of Fashion and Design. That was the beginning. In the last 7 years, we've been running the college, which is Joyce Ababio College of Creative Design. So total, we are 24, 25 years in this business.
24, 25 years into. Oof,
Yes,
that's a
so we've been here a long time, and we've done really well. We are still working very hard at it. So.
And I read some few awards, which you did Miss World, the dinnerware.
That was the very first award I won when I came to Ghana. That was Miss World Spectacular Evening Gown. Miss
World. How was that for you? Like, how was the feeling like?
That was, every time somebody asks, what is the one you remember?
Yeah.
I always say that because it was my very first one here in Ghana. And it was just different, considering all the other awards are mostly in Ghana. I have a different international award though. So that was the breakthrough for me.
That was the
to
point.
know that I have work to do and there's a lot more to do.
So that was the break point where you thought your work is now being accepted and respected, and now it's like I have more work to do, more
work to do.
and people's perceptions
an
change.
award doesn't tell you are done. You know,
yes.
the way they say it's in Ghana, you've arrived. I haven't arrived.
That was the beginning for you.
That was the beginning of the work.
So do you ever think you would get to a point where you just lay back and be like, I've worked hard and I've added within the Ghanaian fashion industry, and now
years to come. We are not there yet.
Miss Joyce, are you sure?
Some years to come, hopefully, we'll take a break. I keep talking about retirement, but
I don't see that. I don't see that anytime soon.
My type of retirement means that my daughter will be doing the day-to-day work in the school, and I'll be into manufacture. That's what I want to do.
Oh.
So that is the sort of retirement I'm going to do.
So we're going to have like Ghana-made products, like like the Zara dresses, but then you get it made in Ghana. Is it going to be with like a little bit of African?
The whole idea of what I want to do is that even you, the designer, somewhere, if you want us to produce your garments for you, we will.
Oh, what about? Well, I want one question for me personally. Do we get to have I want to buy made in, I don't want to buy my dress and it says made in China. Okay. I want my clothes to be said made in Ghana. And it's like, yes.
Yeah, but that's the whole idea. If the designer wants me to make the garments for them, it will be made in Ghana.
No,
in Ghana more.
But that's garments. I'm talking about like everyday wear.
Everyday wear made in Ghana. Yes, that's the whole idea.
So you're going to do that soon?
That's what I keep saying, that what we need to, that's where I feel we need to move to, where we are doing our own things and producing them. We need to get to the point where we are not running to the US, UK and stuff. We have to get to the point where they are coming to us.
Yes.
That's how I see it. That's the part we need to get to.
Well, Ms. Joyce, I'm looking forward to this because I can't wait to go to a shop where Matt's contribution, but then you see Ms. Joyce Ababio made in Ghana. Like, yes.
We are looking forward to that.
Yes,
too.
I am, because that's one thing I'm always looking forward to. I want to be able to purchase a clothes that is made in Ghana by a Ghanaian. And I'm like, oh my God, we also
but we do have them.
Yeah, but like African prints and coutures and garments.
Lots of people are doing that. Christy Brown, Pistis, it's all African wear. You go to their shops, it's there.
I want the basic ones. Like,
yeah,
like the everyday one. Like you can go to the shops and just
red
pick.
Carpet ones.
Not the red carpets one, not the couture ones. Like the one that you can just go to the boutiques that they have, but then have like a supply chain where you can be like, oh
you
yeah.
Just pick anything.
Yes.
We are getting there. It will be done.
Well, that was the conversation with Ms. Joyce Ababio. This was amazing, and I hope you're inspired as I am. Stay tuned as we come back with our final segment called a Bit 6. You already know how that works. I get to choose a statement, and then Ms. Joyce gets to pick one, and she has to tell us why. You can't play the fifth, and you can't choose both. You have to choose one. Stay tuned while we come back. Hello, welcome back. So now we're gonna jump straight into the big six. So Ms. Joyce, formal or traditional?
I probably would say formal.
Why?
Why not? You asked me to choose one.
We have to say why.
Well, we are talking about clothes.
Yes.
And personally, I'm looking at it from a personal point of view. I like a certain type of clothing, such as what I'm wearing. More not what you are wearing.
Okay.
Do you get my point? That's why I would go formal.
See, that's why I'm looking forward to when the manufacturer starts, so that I can get my own formal attire. Politician or preacher? You have to choose one.
Or preacher?
Yes.
I have no idea.
You can't
think
play
I
the
like
fifth.
both. Not sure which one I'm going to pick.
Which one would?
Well, maybe politician. They seem the same to me, actually.
Yeah.
So
but
I'm not sure which of them is the right one.
But why? First, why politician?
Well, I really honestly don't have an answer to this one.
You just had to choose one.
I hope that the person is
Going to make the change.
Going to make a change. I didn't select the preacher because there's a whole lot of things going on these days.
Yes. And we would just stop it right now if we're really getting in trouble. Brains or beauty?
What was the first one?
Brains or beauty?
Brains.
Why?
It helps you along.
Helps along the way. Okay. Money or fame? No politically correct answer.
If one has to be honest, it's got to be money.
Why?
You need money to move along. Fame is not going to do it for you.
Did you hear that? We have a different answer for the first time. Honesty and rawness. So, structured routine or go with the flow?
Structured.
I would say
That I
structured.
can be very sure of. Structured.
Yes. And my final one, and my favorite one of all, but then you have to really, really think about it properly before you select it, because it might get you in trouble.
All right.
Sing or dance?
It's got to be dance. You're
Well-
going to ask why again?
No. That one doesn't actually come
I
with
have a
why.
horrible voice. I can't sing.
So, Miss Joyce said dance, which means she has a good feet for it. And
Don't go there.
we want a little bit of
Oh,
movement.
no.
So my whole
I
cast
can't
and
do
production
both,
would
but if I have to
clap for
choose
you.
both, I will
You have to
pick
move.
one. I have to move.
Hey. Creative. This is a creative space. Miss Joyce has to
You
go with.
realize I'm too old for this?
No, you told me at the end of the day it's creative and you're not gonna get.
All right. That's what I hope.
Well, that was a big 6, and I hope you enjoyed this. And we got her right on the spot to dance, and she did move. So stay tuned for more. And we're going to get taught around the college, and you're going to see how it is in the facilities. And definitely, if you want any information, it'll be there. And also, Ms. Joyce, my final question to you would be, what would be your word of advice for someone within the fashion industry that is in Ghana that wants to pursue fashion, but then they keep going, oh, they will seamstress, baby, like, what would be your encouragement to them?
I think to pursue fashion, it's not an easy task or job as most people think it is. You have to have the passion for it, and you've got to be really determined to do it. So you have to bring these two things on board to be able to do it properly. So it's very important that you make sure that you have the passion for the job.
So your two things is fashion and determination.
And determination.
So guys, you've heard that passion and determination is what you need to be able to thrive through this industry, because you might get some hiccups, but if you don't have the passion and determination, you end up leaving. And also, if you want to know more about Miss Joyce Ababio, she has a college. We'll give you all the link below, and you can apply. How can one apply? Is there a website for?
There's a website.
And is it a direct? Can someone walk in to apply? How does the process work?
Or you walk in, there's somebody there to talk to you. You can pick up a form and fill it out and turn it in. But there's always somebody to talk to you. There's a phone you can call, and somebody will give you all the information that you need.
So you're watching Homeland, the story of the returning. I hope you got the information, and also know that all the information that you need will also be posted down. As Ms. Joyce said, you can walk in, you can pick up a phone call. There's always someone available to talk to you and get all the information you need to apply to the college. Don't go anywhere. And this is Homeland, the story of the returnee.